Pelosi's Taiwan trip brave or foolish?
It was vain. By the way, what Liz Truss says was exactly right. Once she said she was going, once it was released that she was going and she was threatened if she went, she had to go because we're the United States of America and we don't bow down to the Chinese when they say, you better not. And she had no point, no other option at that point but to go. But to go in the first place, and I've really been thinking about this and talking to very smart people about it for a few days now, Dan, to go in the first place, I think was foolish. It was all about her. And I don't think it was brave because you know who's going to bear the risks of her visit? The Taiwanese. They're the ones who are. Is she going to be there when the missiles rain down over the next week? She's not going to be there. She's not going to have to worry about the fallout from that. Is she the one who's going to have to deal with the consequences of the ban on exports that they've now placed on 100 products China has in Taiwan? No, she doesn't have to deal with that. And even back at home, if this is sort of the match that lights the flame that leads to a greater conflict that turns a Cold War into a hot war between the United States and China, she's leaving office. She's 82. She's going to get bounced out because the Democrats are going to lose control of the House in November. So she's not even going to have to deal with the consequences of what she just did. And why now? Was there some urgent need for Nancy Pelosi, this 82-year-old outgoing House Speaker, to swing by Taiwan right now when we're already in a massive conflict with Russia? Through the Ukraine support? It's not a great time for us to be provoking other great world powers. And China, while we've been worried about nation building in Afghanistan and Iraq for the past 20 years, has been steadily building up its ballistic missiles and its land to Navy to sort of seacraft missiles and all of its other military capabilities. And there are a lot of military experts who now believe that if we get involved, the American people get involved in a war trying to stop China from taking over Taiwan, as Joe Biden, contrary to our policy, has explicitly said we would do, we'd lose. So it's really, we're already distracted with all the things happening in Ukraine. So it's not a great time. I think it was a vanity project. And I think she selfishly, with the 30,000 different kinds of $1,000 ice cream behind her, once again made it all about her because she really wanted a Yas Queen moment.
And yeah, you say why not? It seems it literally was because she's viewing this as her international farewell tour, and it's something she's always wanted to do. So sort of to hell with America's public policy priorities because
she thought
it's about what works
she
for
would
her.
look strong. She thought she would look strong. She thought she would look like, Beyonce in a pantsuit. And she called it exactly wrong. I think while some Democrats may be like, you go, girl, the truth is that the administration didn't really want her to go. I think they understand the position that this has put us in. The American people weren't behind this. She got some support from conservatives and from Republicans who understood bending the knee to China once more isn't really a great idea. But why were we even in the position on this where we had to consider bending or not bending? Because of her, right? How many times can we bend the knee to China in a 2-year period? We've already decided to just brush right past the fact that 1 million Americans are dead because of the virus they released. And now she's put us in a position where we really had no choice but to stand by her intent on taking a little field trip from the place she always dreamed she might attend, looking out her window in San Francisco, like back to the Sarah Palin years. I can see it from my house, and I really want to go, and they put my name in a big building. But the whole thing, Dan, got me thinking about my mother-in-law who just turned 86 and this sweatshirt she wore on her 86th birthday, which said something to the effect of, don't mess with an old person because the death penalty has a lot lower threat than you think it does.
Very true. Very true. As a total aside, Megyn, I'm sorry, I couldn't stand that even when she was up there at the microphone, she kept the cloth mask on as if it was going to protect her in some ways, where we've just had Biden, who's masked up all the time and has had, 3 boosters or whatever, infected with COVID for the second time. I just thought, what's that about? It's just virtue signaling
100%.
Nonsense, that cloth mask of Pelosi, right?
Well, they continue
Taiwan.
it. And listen, it's one thing for her and Joe Biden to engage in that sort of a theater. But can I tell you, here in America, we just found out that there are school districts like in Washington, D.C., that are mandating the COVID vaccine now for children 12 and older. In parts of Louisiana, they're now mandating the COVID vaccine for 5 and up. You cannot go to school unless your 6-year-old gets mandatorily vaccinated. That's insane.
It's
It doesn't
sick.
matter whether they've already had COVID. And by the way, we know these vaccines do absolutely nothing to prevent the spread of Omicron. That's why they're working to come up with a new vaccine that might work against Omicron. So what? I have to mandatorily vaccinate now my 8-year-old with a vaccine that won't prevent him from getting Omicron, even though he's already had Omicron, so he doesn't need it, so that he can just go to school and learn in a district in which I pay my taxes. We've lost our ever-loving minds over here.